Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Mirikitani with another episode of Weighing In. We are brought to you by Nike Wrestling. Go to athleteps.com for all of your Nike and Nike gear. Resolite, the Mat Company, and Pure and Clean Sports. Mark, you know you got great partners and sponsors when all three of these companies will be prominent. And I think what we would say is our favorite weekend of the year, the NCAA Wrestling Division I tournament. You and I have gone to this tournament at least one time together. You and I have worked this tournament a couple times together. Really had a lot of fun. I always like watching wrestling with you, but we're not in the same place very often. But you had the iconic interview with Dylan Palacio. Anyway, GT is traveling, so we're probably going to do two versions of this. You and me are going to do our picks.
Okay.
And then we'll see if I change my picks with Grander. Get two sets of picks on the board.
Well, at least you'll win one of them.
Knowing me, I'll probably get them both wrong. But anyway, so I thought what would be interesting, I just literally thought of this, so I know I said something to you different off air, but I think it'd be interesting as we go through, you mentioned picking how we think out to the semis and who we think will be top four. I think it would also be good to look back at our picks at the beginning of the year. Not to like give each other trouble, but just see the perspective where some of these guys went. Like, I know I had Larkin picked high, but at 49.
Yep.
To kind of see how that stuff worked. So, all right, let's pull up the brackets. So it's very interesting because you turn on ESPN and everybody's doing their bracket picks. And these are ours. These are the ones that really matter, the wrestling ones. So to start out with, these were our picks at the beginning of the year. You picked Lillidow and Robinson in the finals, and then your other All-Americans in some order were Spratley, Strickenberger, Poulin, Bouzakis, Peterson, and Nico Provo. And listen, besides the fact that Lillidow and Robinson are on the same side of the bracket, which there's no way you can control, I think all 8 of your guys still got a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I mean, Strickenberg has not had the year I thought he'd have. He's taken some losses, so he's the one I'd be a little bit questionable about. I'd probably put Yuri Volkan right now if I had to make a change.
Well, speaking of which, somebody who probably did a much better, more intelligent job of picking, myself, I had the same two finalists, then Spratley, Strickenberger, Poulin, Bouzakis, but I have Volk and Seymour over Peterson and Provo. So I do feel like I'm in better shape than you are on this one.
Agreed.
And GT has the same 8 as me, except he has Trevor Anderson instead of Bouzakis. So I've officially beaten GT at 125. So, it's mathematically how it works. So I think a lot of people have looked at the brackets, but let's lay it out. Luke is the 1 seed. The highest seeds in his way are either Peterson or Renteria. His round 2 matchup is either Strickenberger or Zeke Witt. He wrestled Zeke Witt to a 6-5 match where Witt got the first takedown. So what I would like to do, I think this will work fine for time purposes. I'm going to ask you if you have anybody other than the favorite making the quarters. If you don't, when we get to the quarters, we're going to do a bigger breakdown of those matches. So do you have Luke making the quarters?
Yes.
Okay. So do I. And then the second quarter bracket is bonkers. Everybody's talking about this, but Spratley's 5, V-Rob is the 12. So I'm doing the blog or video blog, whatever you want to call it, Mark, on Thursday night for Intermat. So on Thursday night, this is Mat 3 on Thursday night. Just so people know, right?
Yeah.
So that's the NCAA rematch, and then you have Sheldon Seymour against Poulin. I'm going to assume you have Seymour beating Poulin. Who do you have V-Rob, Spratley? V-Rob's 3-0 all-time against Spratley, but they've all been one exchange, one flurry, one scoring situation matches.
Yeah, I'm going to go with V-Rob. I just think he's a winner. He just finds ways to win. He has troubles with certain individuals, but Spratley has not been one of them yet. So I would have to go with B-Rob to upset Spratley.
Well, the weird thing is, like I was listening to Willie, it's an upset in terms of the seeds, but if you're 3-0 against me, it's certainly not an upset. You're the defending champ. That's certainly not an upset. And all of his losses, he has 2 losses to Ventresca and 2 losses to Provo. And he beat Spratley at the national duels.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have Vincent Robinson or Seymour in the quarters?
I'm going to take B-Rob.
Okay. So you have Luke and Vincent Robinson in the sems. We'll come back to that. So this is the guy that I think has the craziest bandwidth in the whole meet. And this is Nick Bouzakis is the 3 seed. Jacob Moran is the 14. Tyler Klinsky is the 11. Yuri Volk is the 6. Yuri Volk beat Bouzakis in the Big Ten semis. And Nick Bouzakis, has the 30 seed off the scale. And then Moran Thursday night, he'd have Volk off the scale Friday morning. I watched the Big Ten finals, Mark. Volk looked as big, if not bigger to me than Bouzakis, which was shocking just looking at him.
Yeah.
But it's off a 1-hour weigh-in. They would be live on mat 3. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, they'd be on the inside. So mat 5. And with a 1 pound allowance. So I assume you have Bouzakis and Volk hitting in the quarters?
I do.
Okay. And then who do you have here?
I'm going to take Bouzakis to beat him this time around.
Okay. And then I think the bottom quarter is very interesting. Nico Provost, the 7, Mark Anthony McGowan, sneaky 10. Nico Rivera is a really sneaky 23rd. And then Eddie Ventresca is the 2. Do you have Provo getting by McGowan?
I do. I think he's tough. He has some losses where I kind of shook my head, but he had this tournament to qualify. I thought he wrestled really well, but I don't think he can beat Ventresca. I think Ventresca is going to be the one coming out there.
Okay, so let's start with the top half. You have Luke Lilladell against Vincent Robinson.
Yep.
Specifically, so I'll go first here. We'll just kind of take turns. Maybe I'll do the top half, you do the bottom half. So it might be simple, but I think this is like a 1 takedown kind of match in the sense that I don't think Luke can ride Robinson for a minute plus, and I don't think Robinson can ride him for a minute plus. Luke's had a very good season in terms of when guys try to slow him down, when guys try to take him to overtime, he has not gotten impatient. And there were times last year where it felt like he got, tried to force his attacks too much. Maybe he got caught in some go-behind positions. I've known Luke for a long, long time, since like middle school, and his wrestling IQ out of this world. I think the people that don't know, his age group world accomplishments are literally unmatched by anybody who's ever wrestled for the United States of America. So he's wrestled in a lot of big matches. The moment's not going to be too big for him. I feel like he's just super gritty. I feel like he's improved on these little things, and I feel like he figures out a way to get it done. I will say this, the Spratley-Robinson match, I don't know, it's pretty hard to beat a guy 4 times, and Spratley might be the best guy in the weight on top in terms of if you get to the rideouts, not really in terms of turning guys. He'll hit you in that little suck back, crab ride, high half, claw series, and I think we might be sleeping on Sheldon Seymour here. Like, I actually have Lilladell against Seymour in the semis. And they split last year. Seymour beat him on the front and Luke beat him on the back. But anyway, I have Luke getting by either one of them, in both of them probably being overtime or 4-2 matches in regulation. And that's why I didn't like picking point spreads, because you set the line at 2.5 and you lose if it's the wrong way in regulation or the wrong way in overtime.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Oh, wow. This is a tough one. I've got to go with Luke. He's had a phenomenal year. I think he's grown into the spotlight. Obviously, he's won so many world titles and he's done it before, but the NCAA was a whole different thing. He had one match last year. They just didn't, like you said, he kind of panicked, and I think he made a bad shot and got countered and scored on. So I don't think that's going to happen this year. So I'm going to put Luke in the finals.
Okay. Bottom side, you've got Buzakis, Ventresca. This is Friday night. This is full feed Buzakis, knowing he does have to make weight Saturday morning,
Yep.
but with 2-pound allowance, and then gigantic Nick Buzakis on Saturday night. So I have Volk. Let's go. I'm not sure I have. I think Volk beats Buzakis off the scale. So that's where I'm different.
Okay.
And
who do you have one in between Volk and Ventresca then?
I've gone back and forth on this because I feel like you could start this match in the rideouts. Like, you know how there's certain matches like that, like when we get to 184, they're all, it feels like that. I'm going to take Ventresca just because he's been more consistent this year. Like Volk had, better, maybe higher highs and lower lows. Volk beat Ventresca, though. Let me pull this up. Eddie Ventresca. I'm in Russell Stats, so I apologize. He lost to Yuri Volk 3-1 in tiebreakers and 4-2. So I guess I'm going to stick with it. I'll take Ventresca to make the finals. I just feel like so let's go big picture, Mark. You and I did all our picks, I think, yesterday for our different contests and platforms. And I'm very upset, but our partner who was going to host the live draft, which is really fun because you have to pivot. You can't just have strategies set up, bailed on us. I'm not going to call him out by name, but not happy. But you have certain, like, for example, in any of these salary cap contests, or even where you only pick one number one seed, no one's picking Luke Lillidow because it's a hard weight. And he doesn't bonus as much as like a Messenbrink or a Josh Barr, some of these, or a Mendez, those kind of guys.
Yep.
And so guys like Yuri Volk are interesting. Like Vincent Robinson and Yuri Volk will get a lot of juice in contests because they're ranked. Well, they're seeded 6 and 12. Excuse me. They're ranked 6 and 9. And those guys, if you think a Volk can make the finals, or you think of Vincent Robinson can place top 6, they're value picks. And there's another thing we always know. There's always upsets at the tournament. And another thing we always know is we don't always agree with the seeds, not just opinion-wise, but like factually, like how you got to some of these seeds are kind of interesting.
Yep.
So I'm going to take – here's what I'm going to take Luke over Ventresca in the finals. But if Buzakis gets there, I'm not sure he doesn't beat Luke because I think he's just going to be gigantic. Like he won't do anything all day, but they'll just, I don't know what they're legally allowed to do if he's allowed to be on IVs, but if he's allowed to be on IVs, because of how that stuff works, like I've been around a lot of guys in MMA, and for years, that's what they did. And you gain weight so fast, and it's healthy weight. It's not like you went to the pizza buffet. So I would take either Luke over Ventresca or Buzakis over Luke. And I don't root against anybody, but I'm rooting for Luke because I actually know him and his family really well.
Yeah.
Who you got?
I'm going to take Buzakis to beat Ventresca.
Okay.
And I am going to take Buzakis to beat Luke. I just think he's going to be bigger. They went into overtime when they wrestled the first time. And I really like Buzakis. So
So
this year.
a couple interesting things to point out. I think we all know Penn State's going to win the team title. This Ohio State, Oklahoma State battle for second is really interesting. And the draws are interesting right away here. Spratley, if he loses to Vincent Robinson, pops out, and he'd have to go through the loser of Poole and Sheldon Seymour, which is unbelievable, and then the medal, the loser of Provo Ventresca. So, I mean, that's an awful draw.
Yeah. Best way to not get there is to beat the guy you had in front of you. So
if he beats Vincent Robinson and loses to Sheldon Seymour, he would go to the top of the consolation bracket and would have Mark Anthony McGowan, which is a much more manageable path.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the other guys collectively that we think, I'm just going to name the guys I think that we both think are going to All-American for sure. Luke is 1. Vincent Robinson is 2. Do you have Sheldon Seymour as an All-American?
I don't have him on my original list, but I would probably have to agree.
Now
he will be an All-American, yes.
Yeah, that's 3. Buzakis is 4. Dory Volk is 5. Eddie Ventresca 6. And I think collectively, I think it's fair to say, depending on how the bracket plays out, we see like a Provo, a McGowan, maybe a Zeke Witt Strickenberger coming through, Dean Peterson, and those are big points. Steve O'Poulin. Like Steve O'Poulin beating Diego Sotelo and then beating Sheldon Seymour is not crazy.
Yep.
And him beating Vincent Robinson or Spratley would be an upset, but not a major one. Okay, 33. So you were not on with us when we reacted to the bracket, but Jax is the 1 seed. Seidel is the 4. The explanation we got was that they decided to group these 4 in a pool and decide from that, and that within the 4, Jax was 1-0, Seidel was 0-1, and Blaze and Davino were 1-1. So that's how they did it, which you can do that, but you're supposed to do that on all 10 weights then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it feels like they manipulated the bracket. It also feels super hypocritical that Jax got the 1 at 13-0 and Sheldon Seymour got the 4 at 13-0. And it's not Jax's fault he didn't wrestle the whole season. I mean, listen, what he's doing is historic. But Blaze and Davino, I don't know that either one of those guys have given up a takedown this year. And the only guy they lost to is each other. And here's what they're saying. If Blaze had won the Big Tens, what they're saying is Blaze would have been the 1. Davino would have been the 2. Seidel would have been the 3. I'm sorry. Blaze would have been 1. Jax would have been 2. Seidel would have been 3 or 4. I mean, according to that, 0-1 is better than 0-2, and Davino would have been the 4. So they would have literally been on the same side no matter what. They just would have flip-flopped.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Anyway.
I don't either. Don't have a clue what they're doing sometimes.
With all due respect, I don't see anybody beating Jax Forrest till the semis. I don't see him losing to TK Davis, Zan Fugit, Dom Serrano, or Markel Baker. You agree?
Agreed.
Kyler Larkin and Seidel is a quarterfinal matchup. I've seen them both in person, and I feel like the difference might be the top game. Like Larkin needs to be better on his feet, which is possible but difficult. And then Seidel has in his hip pocket, he can just pick top if he needs to. So I think we're going to get Forrest Seidel too. Do you have it the same way?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, this is such a tough weight, but there's just certain things with these guys. I just don't see it going any other way.
Okay. Blaze is the 3. I don't see anybody stopping him from hitting Bird. I'm sorry, Ayala, excuse me. And I think Blaze gets Ayala in a closer match, but a 1 takedown match. You agree or disagree? Because Drake is your guy.
Yeah, I don't know how it can get any closer because he beat him last time they wrestled. He beat him in overtime.
Okay,
took him down on that with that. It had been his high crotch to the right side of the body because he does everything from the left normally, and he just hit a beautiful high crotch, and Drake just went down. Yeah, I mean, he's 0-2 against him right now. Drake is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be an idiot to think that it's going to change this weekend. I want Drake to win. I'm rooting for Drake to win, but Blaze is tough.
Here's an interesting theory somebody said to me yesterday. They said, hey, all these dudes that are cutting it loose and wrestling, they're great for wrestling. I'm like, for sure. And they said, the guys that wrestle close to the best, people hate it. I go, agreed. He goes, the guys that wrestle close to the best do not have to adjust to the pressure of the NCAA Nationals. They're already wrestling that way.
Yep.
The guys that cut it loose, if they don't cut it loose, you get a different version of them, which is probably not their best version. And there's some psychology to the fact that they will do it closer to the vest.
Agreed.
It's interesting, right?
Yep.
Okay. Lucas Bird and Ben Davino in the quarters. You have that?
Yes.
They have not hit this year. Okay. So Davino had only lost to Blaze. Bird was undefeated and lost to Borman, which is probably one of the most puzzling losses of the year. And then lost to Drake Ayala, which helped me win the Big Ten tournament contest, literally. So I'm going to pick Davino, but Bird beating him would not surprise me.
Yeah. I just don't know where Bird's head is right now, to be honest with you. I wish I was in the room watching him prepare for this. If he's 100%, I mean, he's the man. I would take Bird. If his mind's not there, I got to take Davino because he's just been so skilled. So I'm going to take Davino. I hate not taking Bird. I really hate not taking Drake Ayala, but in all being realistic to what they've done this year, I've got to go with Davino against Blaze in the semis.
Okay. And here are our preseason picks. You had Ayala and Bird in the finals, Blaze, Knox, Crookham, Frost, Davino, Fugit. Crookham and Frost, all of us had, and, Crookham got hurt and Frost can't make the weight. I had Forrest and Blaze in the finals. I had Ayala and Bird, and then Davino and Fugit, Crookham, Frost, just like you. So I feel like I'm good there. GT had Ayala and Blaze in the finals. Bird, he had Tyler Knox, and he had Figueroa. So I feel like I'm headed to a Wings victory here so far.
Yeah, I mean, right now on paper, I feel pretty good about that. But this is the NCAA's. We could be wrong. We could both be wrong. We could have Seidel against Drake Ayala in the finals. I have no idea what's going to happen on this.
Well, no, let's talk about
these guys are so talented.
Okay, so Jack Seidel. I think Seidel can win this match, Mark. I mean, he won the takedown battle 3-1. If you want to say Jax gave up one late because he could, that's fair. But he got the first 2.
Yep.
And he got him he was up 6-1. And that was in the duel. And then Jax got the takedown. It came right up to the body and got the back points. I think if you're arguing Jax, you're arguing he rode Seidel. Seidel couldn't get away. He beat him in high school. If he's not going to lose when he's down 6-1, he's not going to lose. That's the argument for your Jax.
Yep.
If you're Seidel, you go, we were up 6-1. All we got to do is not get taken down to our back. We can pick neutral. If Jax picks down, we're good on top. We didn't ride him last time, but maybe we can. And if we can get the first takedown, maybe we can chip away and get riding time. I'm biased here because Jax was in the event. I think border brawl kids are going to do really good in this event, by the way. Like a lot of point scorers. I'm going to take Jax, but I think it's going to be way closer than people think. I feels kind of like another 10-9 match, but not the way, not 3 takedowns to 1 and back points on the other side. Like maybe they each have 2 takedowns and Jax has riding time. Or Jax ended a period on top and, Seidel didn't get his escape.
Sure.
So I got Jax coming out of the top, but like 60-40.
Yeah.
You agree, disagree?
Disagree. I'm going to take Seidel to come out of the top. I go back to their last match where it was 3 takedowns to 1. If he doesn't give up that positioning on the double and try to fight it a certain way, he would have never been his butt to the mat. And then Jax just basically climbed up and body locked around his waist and was able to hold him there for a 4 count. It's hard to take a quality kid down 3 times, David, and he was able to do that. So I think that's something him and his coaching staff is going to go in the room and say, look, you out-wrestled him. He got you in one position that you were uncomfortable and you give up 7 points.
Yeah, that's the argument.
We got this. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. You're going to score takedowns on him. We know how to take him down with that lefty single. He pressures back into him once he gets it instead of trying to pick it way up, which was genius.
And he countered the slide by. That's the other thing. He countered the slide by.
So I'm going to go with Seidel to make the finals. And but I'm going to go with Davino to win it all.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Jax Blaze because that's what I picked in September, October.
Okay.
I'm going to take Blaze.
Okay.
So this is great because we have opposite picks here. This will be fun, Well, it's way better than agreeing on everything.
Yep. And we've only done 2 weights.
Yeah. Okay, 41. Jesse Mendez to the semis. Next topic.
How about Jesse Mendez? Yeah, I just got to go. Yeah, no topic.
Okay. Luke Stanich and Anthony Echemendia in. So here's another guy, 13-0. He's the 5 seed. Like, it feels like they hosed Lehigh, man. Anyway, Anthony Echemendia and Stanich. Who do we got here?
I'm going to take Stanich from watching him make the world team. He's tough.
Yeah. I am too, and I love Echemendia, but I mentioned this with the podcast last week with GT. I thought it was fascinating that Echemendia, the Vega match, he got out twice. He didn't even pick down the first time,
Mm-hmm.
He just lost on basically riding time or a reversal. But anyway, so that's going to set up an undefeated semi, which we'll get to. Okay, Brock Hardy would wrestle Cornella. He has that interesting Braden Davis rematch where Braden Davis got the first 2 takedowns and then Hardy pinned him and there was the fight. I've got Hardy coming out to the semis. Do you?
I do too.
Okay, this is one of the weirdest things I'm going to say now. Sergio Vega hasn't given up a takedown this year. It doesn't feel like he's taken like 10 real shots since like 2026 started. I don't feel like that style can hold up for him. But he has a path where it's super manageable, right? Like he's beaten Consiglio, he's beaten Nasir Bailey, he killed Brock Hardy twice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick Vega. I'm going to pick Vega to make the semis, but I think the Nasir Bailey match is very interesting because I think Nasir Bailey gets by Consiglio, by the way, because that match was 0-0, just so people know. They both picked neutral. They'll both pick down this time. Nasir Bailey had Vega's foot in the air, that straight leg position where he says holding the foot in front of him. He tried. He got tired. He tried and went for it. Vega got his foot to the mat and just hit a like Nasir stopped wrestling.
Yep.
I think Nasir anybody can get to Vega's legs. Like he actually wants you to get to his legs. Anyway, I'm gonna pick Vega. I have it 1 versus 5 and 2 versus 3. Do you disagree?
No, I agree 100%.
Okay, I'm gonna take Mendez over Stanich in a match that's closer than people think. I mean, listen, I love Jesse Mendez. I think you've known that since he was a freshman. But both his NCAA titles have been close, right? Like the Bo Bartlett one, he had to hit the standing Granby to win it.
Yep.
And that won me a contest, which was awesome. And then last year, he was down early to Brock Hardy. I think he was down 5-0, like a takedown and near fall. And he ran him down. He's been really dominant this year. But, Luke Stanich came off that U20 world title and then, kind of eased his way into the season. That's kind of why I think there should be another tournament or two the second semester so people could get more matches.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if he had 2 more matches, he would be the 3 seed.
Yeah, you should. I agree 100%. Yeah. I mean, they made Jax number 1 with less than 15 seed, and Stanich has the same amount of matches, 13. He's 13. Is he 13-0, David?
Yeah. I will say this. Jax has beaten better guys.
Okay.
Like if you look at their quality wins. But anyway, you have Mendez close, Mendez big, Stanich in the upset.
I'm going to take Stanich in the upset.
Are you serious right now?
I'm dead serious. I think Stanich can get it done.
We need to add Luke Stanich to a couple more of our teams.
No, I have him on a few of the teams I got, David. Yeah.
No, that's right. We do.
Don't worry about it, David. I got it taken care of. Okay. Yeah, I just like him. He's not going to be intimidated. He hand fights really, really well. And I could be an absolute idiot by saying this, but I think he's got a shot to beat him. So
I think he has a shot.
And I think he has a shot to win the whole thing.
Okay, well, we're going to get I think the winner of the top half beats the winner of the bottom half. We haven't picked anything the same yet, which is awesome. Okay. Like I told you, I've said this to you all year. I just don't trust Vega because he's not generating offense, okay? I think I'm stupid for saying this because I don't have him picked in any of my pools, but I'm going to pick Hardy. Just because I feel like he's gotten a feel for him twice now. I don't think he's going to shoot. So you and me had this conversation before the duel. You're right most of the time, but and I think you were long-term right. I think short-term I was right. You said he's got to do what he does. He's got to be him. And I'm like, I wouldn't shoot. I wouldn't shoot. If you don't shoot on Vega, you have a really good chance. I would be snapping, trying to run corners, because you don't get hit for stalling anymore if you don't shoot, as long as you stay in the middle. It's like freestyle.
Yep.
He shot, got killed, but I think learned from it. I mean, there's been a couple podcasts where he talked about learning positions. Hardy's pretty good on top, too. He's pretty scrambly. Vega likes to put you in the scrambles. This is, even though it's a 3-2, it's a pretty significant upset. I'm going to take Hardy to make the finals. I'm going to take Mendez over Hardy. I'm guessing now you'll have Stanich against Vega and Stanich to win it.
Yes. How did you know, David?
What's funny is we have not talked about these picks. So
no, we haven't. Yeah, you're doing my picking for me. You're doing a great job. You keep it up.
No. Okay.
I'll tell you when you're wrong.
You see Vega winning easily or closer? Do you see Hardy changing his game plan?
Vega's just really difficult to wrestle, and I'm not sure anybody's figured him out yet. So until somebody does, and I'm not sure who in the bottom part of the bracket, obviously, I mean, he pinned Did he pin Hardy last time?
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm a standby Standage winning a national championship for Lehigh.
Okay.
Over Vega.
We got to keep it moving. It's my fault. At 2033, I think we both agree Kyler Larkin, probably All-Americans, Ayala All-Americans, Bird All-Americans, and then that 8th spot is completely up for grabs. Would you agree?
Yep.
Okay. 41, I think. So, and our initial picks for the beginning of the year, 41, you had Mendez and Stanich. I had Mendez and Stanich. GT had Mendez and Echemendia in the finals. We both had Hardy. We all had Hardy, Echemendia, Stanich as All-Americans. You and me had Braden Davis, Vombar, Bailey. You had Bailey and Composto. I had Ragusin and Jack, so I think you're ahead there. And then he had Bailey, Ragusin, Romney, and Manville. So none of us are.
I think I'm winning this weight.
I think you're in the best spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good about this.
Okay. And then at 41, I think, besides Mendez, I think Vombar will be in a blood round match. I think Echemendia will place because we'll have him losing before the semis. This feels like I think Nasir places, but I mean, I don't have a ton of faith in Vince Cornella just because it hasn't happened. This is like Julian Tagg's kind of sneaky at 20. Like his draw is not terrible. We looked at that. So, okay. 49, the weight of chaos. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. You had Van Ness and Swiderski in the finals, Styles, Larkin, Pinheiro / Frost, Lamer, Edmond, and Lachlan McNeil. I had Van Ness and Larkin in the finals, so I don't feel like I should be punished for that. I had with Styles, I had Swiderski, Pinheiro Frost, Lamer, Wazalewski, and McNeil. So I think Wazalewski over Edmond has to be in my favor because Edmond's not in the bracket. So this will be interesting how we decipher who wins that. GT had Pinheiro / Frost in the finals, and then Swiderski as the other finalist. Van Ness, McNeil, Styles, Rachi, Block, and Larkin. So I feel like it kind of depends on if Swiderski makes the finals or not. You win. If not, and Wazalewski places, I win. Was that fair?
Okay.
No.
I agree.
Okay.
It's fair.
Van Ness is the 1. Casey Swiderski is the 8. David Evans is the 9. Jacob Frost is the 16. There's a lot to unpack here, but we're already pretty far into this. This might be a 2-hour podcast because I would just what?
It can't be a 2-hour podcast. I have other things I got to get done.
Okay.
You may have to come back and do it later today.
Okay. Anyway.
Second half.
Okay.
I wear the same sweatshirt, so it'll work.
Okay. Van Ness, Frost, Evans, Swiderski. I don't know why. I have a feeling Swiderski's going to beat Van Ness in the quarters. So I guess I'll put it on wax. I'll take Swiderski to the semis, which doesn't change the team race in terms of Penn State, losing now, but it massively helps Oklahoma State if I'm right.
Yeah.
Who do you have coming out of the top quarter?
I got Van Ness coming out of the top quarter just because I think he'll run Swiderski down. I think Swiderski's going to be in the match early. I think he can score an early takedown, and maybe that will motivate him to get him through it. And he's another Scotty Burnett kid, so I know he's tough as nails.
Who's a Scotty Burnett kid?
Swiderski. He wrestled for his club team.
Oh, he's from Michigan.
Yes, but he wrestled in Ohio on the club team.
Okay.
I'm just giving out some information some people don't know. Congrats
to Perrysburg, by the way, for winning the state title over St. Ed's, which was a pretty significant upset. Yeah. Okay. So you got, Coy Biskins, Carter Young, Joe Zargo, Colin Guy.
It's crazy. Boy, I'm going to put Carter Young out to the quarters. And then I'm going to have him wrestling Guy, and I'll have the Guy beating him to make the semis.
I'm going to take Carter Young to make the semis. That's a heart pick, but
that threw me, David. Very impressed.
Well, I could be lose the game. Will show first round. So let's not get real impressed yet. Okay. This was Cross Wasilewski is absolutely overseeded. Okay.
We're gonna find out.
Well, that's not really true. Okay. Like people say that stuff, but if you get put in the right spot, it helps you dramatically. He's ranked 10, 9, and 9 in the polls. Okay. So, like, it's not right. I don't know how you get to a 3 seed here. Caleb Rachi's wrestled pretty good near the end of the year. But then Lachlan McNeil's 11, Caleb Tyus is the 6. Caleb Tyus killed himself by losing at the MAC. He'd be the 2 seed.
Yeah.
I think we agree. I got Lachlan McNeil making the Sems.
Agreed.
Okay.
I think he wrestled really well at the Big Tens. I think he started slow. Now I think he's kind of getting into a rhythm, and I like his upside.
I also think these guys that have, transferred and waited around, like, they do one of two things generally. They kind of fizzle out, or they don't have great regular seasons, and then they go hard because the regular season's boring to them. Like, Stephen Buchanan's one of the few guys that but it's also he didn't transfer as a senior,
True.
Anyway. All right, Styles is the 7, Valencia is the 10. That's an awesome match. Ryder Block's the 15, Jackson Joy is the 2. Stylistically, I would love to see Aiden Valencia wrestle Jackson Joy because I think one guy's better on his feet and one guy's an absolute monster on top. Who do you got coming out here?
I actually have.
I think I know this one.
Oh, David.
I guess I know.
You think.
I think I know.
I took, there we are, the bottom part. I'm going to take Valencia to make the quarters, and I'm going to take Jackson Joy to make the quarters, and I'm going to take Valencia to beat Jackson Joy in the quarters and make the semis.
That's exactly what I thought you would take. And no, I'm saying
right.
Valencia.
I've been on Valencia. He's my boy.
Yeah, you've been hard on him the whole year, and I think this is where him being a little small for the weight comes into play. Like, I just think Jackson Joy gets on top of him once, and that's the difference in the match. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to pick Swiderski against Lachlan McNeil in the finals.
I'm going to go scratch, and I'm going to go with Van Ness against Joy in the finals.
Okay. So
I'm going to take Van Ness to win it. It's his turn. I just think he's going to get it done. He hasn't looked great. I'm surprised he hasn't lost this year because he's been down in about 6 or 7 matches and then just runs people down like they can't walk. So I'm
going to take Swiderski, which would be to win it, which is crazy because he started the year like 0-4.
Okay.
So, all right, 57. Duke is the 1, Cardenas is the 9, Brandon Cannon is the 8. That 8-9 matchup is really interesting. I thought Cannon looked really good coming back. Okay, like he got beat by PJ Duke, but he wrestled hard on the back. It doesn't feel like it feels like he's healthy. I'll take Cannon over Cardenas and Duke over Cannon.
Same.
Rabideau's the 5, Zerbin's the 12, Rake's the 13, Larkin's the 4. I would like Zerbin's chances against Rabideau, even though he lost to him based on body type. But he got that concussion and he defaulted out, and I just don't trust he's 100%. So I'm going to take a Big 12 final rematch, and I'm going to trust the wizardry and IQ of Eric Larkin and company down there, besides the coaching staff. I think Larkin has the advantage that if they each get a takedown, Larkin can ride. That was the difference last time. I'll take Larkin over Rabideau to get into the semis.
Same.
Meyer Shapiro's the 3, Miller's the 14, Ty Waters is the 11, Jude Swisher is a surprisingly high 6. I'm going to take Ty Waters over Swisher, Shapiro over Miller. I'm going to take Ty Waters to make the semis.
Wow. Now that surprises me. But isn't shocking. I like Ty Waters. I always have. But he's going to wrestle somebody that's just as talented at scrambling as he is. So I'm going to take Shapiro to make the semis, David, but I think he will wrestle against Ty Waters in the quarters. So
you have Meyer Shapiro making sems?
yes.
Okay. Cannon Webster's the 7, Logan Rosinski's the 10, Catcherbone's the dangerous 15, Antrell's the 2. Antrell, we looked this up earlier when we were making our picks. Antrell beat Cannon Webster by 1 takedown. This was very interesting, okay? So I watched the Big Ten finals, and I was like, Antrell Taylor will never beat PJ Duke. That's just what I thought, okay, based on how the match went. I talked to my dad. My dad goes, I think he stopped trying. I think once he was behind by like 2 takedowns, he just didn't care anymore. Whatever he thought he was gonna work, he's gonna save. My dad's really smart. I mean, and there's no way of knowing if he's right or wrong.
Well,
But I think what he is saying is that loss may not have been as bad as like the score could have been better.
yeah.
I'm going to take Antrell to make the sems. I mean, people kind of look at it and go, he took 7th or 8th. I think it was 8th as a freshman. We was up a weight.
Yeah.
Because of their lineup.
Yes.
The place is a freshman in a grown man weight. And he won it last year. So I'm going to take Antrell to make the semis against Ty Waters, and I'll take Antrell to make the finals on the bottom half.
Water.
Mark? Sorry, you were frozen. Go ahead.
I wasn't frozen. You were frozen.
Okay.
I said you're going to go with Waters right in the semis. And who are you taking to win that match?
I have Antrell over Waters in the semis.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to take Cannon Webster to make the semis. I just love the way he wrestles.
I love the way he wrestles too. Yeah.
He's aggressive. He gets after you. I think if he can score early and maybe get 2 takedowns, which wouldn't surprise me, then I think you're going to see the same thing that happened to Antrell in the finals of the Big Towns. So I'm going to take Cannon Webster to make the semis, but I think he's going to have problems with Shapiro yeah.
Okay. So you have Shapiro making the finals.
Yes.
Okay. I've got Duke over Larkin. I don't know PJ Duke. I love Eric Larkin, but I just think Duke's maybe a little too powerful. I also think Larkin's the only one that can give him trouble. I think like Larkin's almost impossible to finish a single leg on. And if he could get to the right outs, I think he could. The problem with Larkins, both of them are they kind of start slow. They give up a lot of first takedowns, and that's a lot against these guys that are this good.
Yeah.
A lot of them are 1 takedown matches, and just spotting a guy a 3-1 lead is a lot.
Yeah. I think I would like to take Larkin to beat PJ, but if they have wrestled once this year and PJ beat him by 4 or 5,
They didn't wrestle.
they didn't wrestle. I'd feel more comfortable taking Larkin, so Larkin would have a feel for him. But first time out, the way PJ can explode, I've got to take PJ Duke to make the finals. And then you get a rematch of earlier this year, but I'm going to take PJ to win it all.
What's the rematch?
He wrestled. Didn't he lose this year?
He lost to Antrell Taylor. You have
he hasn't wrestled. I thought for some reason he wrestled Cornell somewhere and lost.
No.
But no. Yeah.
He
I'm going
lost
to take
to
PJ
Antrell
Duke.
in a duel.
Okay. I'm going to take PJ Duke to win it all.
I've got Duke over Antrell in a rematch. This will be their 3rd time. Okay. All right. 65. Okay. All Americans here. I think for sure Rabideau. I think Cannon read All Americans. I think he's wrestling really well.
Yep.
I've got Shapiro on the backside All American. You have Waters, I assume, backside All Americaning.
Yep.
I have Webster All American on the backside, and you have Antrell All-American on the backside.
Yep.
Okay. All right. 65. Messenbrink, next topic. Ladarian, Nico Ruiz rematch. I think Ladarian gets him this time. Agreed? Okay.
Agreed.
Mikey Caliendo, LJ Arujau. LJ Arujau, Ryder Downey's an interesting second-round match, but I think Mikey Caliendo makes the semis. Agree?
Yep.
Joey Blaze has wrestled some close matches this year, but I don't think Max Brignola is a sneaky 7. Lehigh's kind of like Gonzaga in basketball. Like they just have a good record and you don't know who they play. And sometimes they're a little better than you think. And sometimes they're not as good as you think. But I have this very, very chalky, like Blaze to the semis.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay. I've got Messenbrink beating Ladarian. And I think Ladarian might get the first takedown, might get the first 2 takedowns. But Messenbrink's pace is just ridiculous. So I've got him. You have a different?
No, I got Messenbrink winning by either a major or a tech in the
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, when he starts coming at you, once the floodgates open, you're in big trouble. And Ladarian, I've seen him get tired in the third period, and if he gets tired against Messenbrink, he's in a world of hurt. So, yeah, Messenbrink's just head and shoulders above everybody.
And I think we agree Caliendo in the rematch over Blaze.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Messenbrink winning.
Yes.
Okay. So in the preseason, I guess we go back to 57, by the way. You had Shapiro and Penn State in the finals. Then Zerbin, Taylor, Waters, Cardenas, Cannon, Jordan Williams. I had Penn State and Taylor in the finals. We'd agreed on Zerbin, Waters, Cardenas. I had Cannon, Webster. Shapiro, we agree on as an All-American. We both had Jordan Williams. So I think that's going to sort of be – it's really going to probably be who wins the semis on who wins that weight.
Yep.
GT and I both had Penn State. Taylor both had Shapiro. Both had Zerbin. Both had Waters. He had Cody Chittum. So my Jordan Williams is his Cody Chittum. 65, we both had Messenbrink and Caliendo in the finals. We both had Lockett and Blaze as All-Americans. You had Hunter Garvin who got hurt. So did I. So that actually just gets thrown out. I had Maddie Bianchi, Arujau, and Ruiz. You had Downey, Ruiz, and Uten. So I think I feel a little better about where I am with Bianchi and Arujau. And he had Scholes and Keller, so I feel like I'm good there.
Okay.
All-Americans, I think Bianchi and Hebner's seated really high, so I don't know. I kind of like Patty Gallagher's draw from the 16 if he can get by Scholes. I think Nico Ruiz will place. Andrew Sparks is kind of a dark horse to place. LJ Arujau needs to make the quarters, but if he can get past Ryder Downey, he's in a pretty good spot to place. And then Max Brignola is somebody that wasn't on any of our radars. And I think the winner of him and Will Denny will probably end up placing as well. You agree?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. 74. We're firing now, baby. All right. Levi's the 1. Facundo's the 8. Facundo has a really bad draw first round. He has Sergio Desianti, who beat him like 2 takedowns to none in the duel. Beaumont is the 9. I'm going to take Haynes to make the semis and Beaumont over Facundo in round 2, in the round of 16.
Agreed.
PK is the 5. Schubert's the 12. Bear's the 13. Karchela's the 4. Kennedy Karchela quarterfinal. I have no idea. So whoever you pick here, I'll just agree with.
I'm going to take Kennedy to get the 3rd win. Yeah, they've split this year. No, actually, Kennedy's up 2-1 on him. So, because he beat him at the national duel. So, I'm going to go Kennedy to figure it out and be in the semis against Haynes.
And then Haynes to make the final.
Yes.
Okay. Minto is the 3, Espinosa Owens 14, MJ Gaitan is the 11, Maddie Singleton is the 6. Feels chalky to the quarters, and I've got Minto in a very entertaining match over Singleton.
Yep.
Cam Steed is the 7, Miles Tackett is the 10, Danny Wask is the 15, Simon Ruiz is the 2. I'm going to go upset city here and go Wask over Ruiz and Steed over Wask.
Wow, Wask is tough. I got to go Ruiz to the quarters, and I think he's going to wrestle Steed. I'm going to go Ruiz, making it out to the semis.
Okay. And then you have Minto and Ruiz. I have Minto and Steed. I have Minto making the finals. Do you as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then I have Levi Haynes beating Minto in a match that is way closer than people think.
I'm going to take Minto to win this time.
Woo, baby. Okay. So they had, for people that don't know, the Big Ten final was 2-1, and it was a draping figure 4 call. It's the right call, but that was the difference in the match. And they had the duel was, you could tell Levi was fired up because he pushed him off the stage. So, okay, 84. This is the draw from heaven if you're Rocco Welsh. He's the 1, Rylan Rogers 16, Chris Moore's the 9, Silas Allred's 8. Rocco Welsh over Silas Allred in a 1 takedown or overtime match to make the semis.
Agreed.
Brock Mance the 5, Fishback's the 12, Isaac Dean is the 13, Conway's the 4. I loved Iowa State at a certain point this year, even after they lost to Ohio State at the collegiate duels.
Mm-hmm.
But they're banged up at 57. They're banged up at 84. And Garrett Rice wrestled well, but they don't have Frost in at 33. I think that takes them out of team contention. I've got Saldano upsetting Dean based on injury. Conway making the quarters against Brockmant, and Brockmant making the sems.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree, but I like Fishback. I know he's lost. So I'm going to take oh man, this is tough. I'm going to take Dylan Fishbach to make the semis, beating Conway in the quarters.
Okay, by the way, our picks at 74 preseason, you had Haynes and Kennedy in the final, which can't happen, but good pick. I had Haynes and Minto. GT has Haynes and Ruiz. We all had Ruiz as an All-American. We all had Kennedy as an All-American. We all had Minto as an All-American. You and me had Karchla, Singleton. You had Facundo and Lorenzo Norman. You don't get punished for Lorenzo Norman. He got hurt. I have Cam Steed and Mantanona. So, and then GT had Pinto, Minto, Singleton, and Mantanona. So
Pinto and Minto?
Yes, exactly.
That sounds like a Mexican drink. So
really fun restaurant at happy hour. Yeah. Okay. So you have Fishback making the semis. I have Brockmant making the semis. And we have Welsh over either one of them to make the finals.
Yes.
Okay. This next one I think is pretty simple. And then the bottom one deserves some serious conversation. Max McAnally's the 3, Bullock's the 14, Cardino Walsh is the 11, Nietenbach's the 6. Zach Ryder is wrestling on one arm. He's the 22. I've got McAnally making sems here without a lot of struggle.
And I agree 100%.
Angelo Ferrari is the 7. I really wish they had made him, I don't know. I think he deserved to be in the second quarter bracket. So like the 12 or the 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Caleb Campos, 10, Sal Perrine, 15, Aiden Sinclair is the 2. Aiden Sinclair is 30-1, has wrestled everybody in front of him. At 30-1 feels like that's wrong. I'm going to check that. But nonetheless, his only loss this year was to Ferrari. They're a quarterfinal matchup.
Yes.
Who you got?
Well, I'm going to take Ferrari. He beat him last time. I think he's healthier than people think. I think they just kind of pulled him out of the Big Tens. He looked good in the, when he wrestled
Rocco.
Rocco. Actually had his leg up twice, which was absolutely amazing because he didn't start out in great positions. He's just so strong. He was able to pick it up and get it up high. Just wasn't able to finish it. So I'm going to take Ferrari over Sinclair and make the semis against McAnally.
And then who wins?
That's a tough one. I'm going to take McAnally over Ferrari.
Okay. I'm going to take Aiden Sinclair all the way out to win it.
Okay. I could see that happening because I would take Sinclair over McAnally if he was able to beat. Yeah.
Do you have Ferrari beating Welsh?
I do.
Okay. So we agree that quarterfinal is just absolutely pivotal.
Yep.
Okay. The other All-Americans, we picked, by the way, initially at the preseason, we all picked Ferrari, McAnally in the finals. We all picked Ryder to All-American, Rocco to All-American, so we were wrong about that. We all picked Sinclair to All-American. You and me had Jackson Smith, which does not help us. You had Iseroff and Fishback. I had Dean and Fishback. So I think we're going to just be the same, honestly, because I think Dean's going to do better than Iseroff, but not by a lot. GT had Shane Cardina Walsh and Soldano. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Soldano's in a good spot in the bracket, by the way.
He is.
So I think our All-Americans, you stop me if I'm wrong. Rocco Welsh is 1. I think Silas Allred is 2. Brockman is 3. I'm going to just name guys. We might get too many. Fishback 4, Soldano 5, Conway 6, Max McAnally 7, Ferrari 8, Aiden Sinclair 9. One of those guys does it, but I think those are kind of the guys we both like. Fair?
Yep.
Okay. 97, I would say Josh Barr, next topic to the finals. Barr's the 1, Branson's the 16, Posada is the 9, DJ Parker's the 8. I've been really high on Posada the whole year. I'm sure I'm biased because of my relationship with Poway and they were in the national duels. I think Posada wins the 8-9 matchup and then loses to Barr. Joey Novak's the 5, Geog's the 12, Bennett Bergey's the 13, Sonny Sasso's the 4. I got Sonny Sasso making it out to the semis. He beat Novak convincingly at the national duels. Tell me where you agree or disagree.
I'm 100% what you just said. I think it's going to be Sasso and Barr in the semis. Barr's no topic, goes to the finals.
Okay.
So
Stephen Little, here's where I feel like Mark's got a curveball coming. Stephen Little's the 3. Gabe Sollers is the 11. Gabe Sollers is the 14. Cam McDaniel is the 11. Justin Rademacher is the 6. Gabe Arnold is the 27. I'm saying that because I think I've got Cam McDaniel out to the semis. I think Mark has Gabe Arnold beating Rademacher and maybe Cam McDaniel, but I will not hang up but listen.
I don't know where that came from, David. I'm shocked.
Okay.
I got Rocky Elam coming out of the bottom.
Mark, third.
Oh, you already did that. All right. I'm going to go Stephen Little out to the quarters. And I think he's going to wrestle McDaniels.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think McDaniel. I think Stephen Little's better. I'm going to put him out in the finals, and then I think Rocky Elam will be
semis.
Or semis, and I think Rocky.
Let me get to the bottom.
All right.
Okay. Cody Merrill's the 7. Max Stout is the 10. Remy Cotton's the 15. Elam's the 2. Cody Merrill, Max Stout's an interesting match. I've got Elam beating Merrill in the quarters, Rocky to the sems. But that was a barn burner match in the duel where it felt like Merrill did everything but win the match. But I felt like Rocky was waiting for some stall calls and some things like that. I think he'll just go get a takedown. But Cody Merrill's sneaky good. Like, there's a path for him to make the finals here.
Yeah. Man, I really like the kid from Pittsburgh, Stout. I think Stout upsets Merrill.
Okay.
And then I think it's Stout against Elam. I think Elam's just too talented. So I got Elam going out to the semis.
Okay. And then heavyweight, Bastida's 1. Jimmy Mullen is 16. Cole Marisol is 9. Ben Keeter's 8. That's a rematch of the backside semi of the Big Tens. I've got Bastida to the quarters, Marisola winning the rubber match, and Bastida to the semis.
I'm going to take Ben Keeter to the quarters over Marisola, but Bastida beats Keeter. He didn't have a problem last time they wrestled, so I would agree there. Okay,
by the way, in 97, I had Barr and Elam in the finals. You had Elam and Rademacher in the finals. We had Rademacher's All-American like you did with Barr. We all had Little as an All-American. Berg, you had Novak, Berge, Merrill, and Dean. I had Berge, Merrill, Stout, Novak. So we both had Merrill, we both had Berge, we both had Novak. So Stout over and Dean. I actually think you probably had a better pick, but what happened happened. So
yeah.
Neither one of us picked McDaniel, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And GT did pick McDaniel and did pick Nelson. So, okay. Heavyweight, by the way, we picked Bastida and Ferrari in the finals, which can't happen. GT picked Bastida and Trumbull, which looks like on seeds-wise could happen. We all picked Gotti Ali as an American. We all picked Keeter. We all picked Feldman. You and me picked Amos. We all had Trumbull. You had Nathan Taylor. I had Marisola. He had Volker. What happened to Volker? He got hurt, right?
Yeah, he got hurt.
Okay. All right. Okay, second quarter bracket. Feldman is the 5. Braxton Amos is the 12. That's a rematch of a match where Feldman got a takedown with 5 seconds left to win. He was losing. Lanazga is the 13. Dayton Pitzer's a dangerous 20. Ferrari's the 4. How do you see this bracket going?
I see Ferrari making it out to the quarters. I don't think he really – I think Amos will give him issues because I really like Braxton. And I think they had a fairly close match last time they wrestled. But I think Ferrari's just too good on top, and he's really hard to score on. It's hard to get underneath. So I'm going to take Ferrari out to the quarters, and I think he's going to end up wrestling Nick Feldman. And I think they're 1-1, or Feldman beat him twice. They're 2-1.
Feldman beat him the first 2.
Yeah. And then Ferrari won the last one. I'm going to take Ferrari to get out to the semis against Younger.
Okay. Who do you have winning that?
Younger's by far the best wrestler, but because of styles, I'm going to take Ferrari.
I agree with you, which pains me because I love Bastida, but Ferrari's winning the match 1-0 when it starts. What's crazy is I don't even know if Ferrari gets there. I'm going to agree with you, but he just doesn't attack. And if they call stalling on top, it takes his advantage away.
Yep.
Okay. Gotti Ali's the 3, Hopkey's the 14, Devin Dawson's the 11, Nathan Taylor's the 6. I have this really chalky Gotti Ali beating Nathan Taylor in the quarters.
Agreed.
Connor Doucette's the 7. He has a terrible first-round draw in Luke Luffman. Luke Luffman is ranked collectively 15, excuse me. He's ranked 13, 14, and 18. He somehow got the 26 seed. Bizarre. Zuba's the 10, Brady Colbert's the 15, Christian Carroll's the 18. This quarter bracket's really loaded. Trumbull is the 2. So I don't know who Doucette loses to, but I feel like he loses to Luffman or Zuba. It just feels like a tough path. And if not, he definitely loses to Trumbull. I've got Trumbull making the semis in a competitive match against Christian Carroll.
Yeah, man, I got to go with Trumbull. He's a big boy, wrestles like a middleweight, can move really well, good on top. He's got all the tools to be successful. I'm going to put him out to the semis. And him and Galeali is going to be one heck of a match. Really, both guys are really athletic. But I'm going to take Michigan to win in the semis.
I'm going to take Trumbull. I'm going
I
to take Trumbull to beat Ferrari.
Okay.
You have the Big Ten rematch, so you have Gadiali or Ferrari. Ferrari was winning early. Gadiali ran him down.
Yep. I'm gonna take I hate saying that. I'm gonna take Ferrari to win the national title.
Okay. The All-Americans we picked here. Well, we already went through that.
Yep.
So the other All-Americans that we think collectively, Bastida's won. Do you have Mirasola or Keeter placing or both?
I just had Keeter placing, but I could see Mirasola placing.
I'm going to take Mirasola to place. So collectively, that's 2. Feldman is 3. If the bracket worked out, I think Braxton Amos is 4. Ferrari's 5. Gadiali is 6. I think Nathan Taylor places. That's 7. And Trumbull's 8. I think Christian Carroll, if he's healthy, could sneak in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he was sick at the Big 12s, right?
Well, no one knows. That's what we were told,
Okay.
right? I mean, I don't mean this sarcastically. We just don't have like a doctor's note. Like, we don't know. Penn State first, right?
Yep.
Collectively. So it gets really close here, right? Like Ohio State, Oklahoma State are neck and neck.
Yes.
I'm going to take Ohio State based on the draw as 2nd, Oklahoma State 3rd. I think Nebraska's comfortably in 4th. I think Iowa State is not going to take 5th, which I feel bad for them. They've had a great year. I think they might only have 3 All-Americans. I think they're going to have 2 finalists in Echemendia.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
agree.
going to Iowa 5th. And then I think Iowa State, Cornell, Virginia Tech, NC State are all in that 6, 7, 8, 9 range.
Agreed.
Okay. What's great is I get to make all new picks with Grant this afternoon.
I can't wait to hear him.
Okay. So for people, this is Tuesday. I'm going to Cleveland Wednesday. GT's in the air right now. I don't know that we're going to do any podcasts from Cleveland. I will be doing the blog for Intermat. So if you're my friend and you want to DM me or text me during that, I'll try to get shout outs where I can. Thanks to Earl and Willie. Willie's laid up, so I won't get to see him. But Earl Smith is as good of a human being as it gets and really, really bright about wrestling and unbelievably good at data and everything else. And like National Duels was really fun with both those guys. And GT was on Media Row, which is very abnormal for him. So I don't know if I'm going to be there next year because they changed the dates. And I think it conflicts with something I'm running. It also conflicts with Iron Man. So I think Willie will be at Iron Man. So that might have been a one and done for us all being together.
Yeah.
Anyway, any parting shots from you? Any big predictions? How many champs does Penn State have? We'll just go through it. Luke, yes or no?
Yes.
I have him as a yes. Blaze, yes or no?
No.
I have him as a yes. Braden Davis, no. Van Ness?
Yes.
I have him as a no. PJ?
I don't. Yes.
I do too. Messenbrink, yes.
Yes.
I have Levi, you don't. Rocco Welsh, I have no.
No.
Barr,
Yes.
I have 6. You have 5. If the number's 5.5, I would probably take the under. Just I feel like there's too many benefit of the doubts there. If the number's 4.5, do you go over or under? I think that's the number that kind of divides the betting.
I'll probably go over because I said yes on Little Dog, but I had Ohio State beating him in the finals.
Well, then you'd go under.
I'd have to go under here.
I think
I said yes when you said Little Dog. I said yes just because.
I know, I got it.
I don't think about it.
Okay, I think we collectively think Messenbrink wins, Barr wins. Okay. I have Haynes winning, but it's really close, right? And then you just have a bunch of these guys that are going to be in like one, like Rocco can win, right? I mean, he's ranked 1, Duke's ranked 1,
Yep.
Willowdale's ranked 1 or seeded 1, Van Nessa's seeded 1. So Penn State has a chance to make history, break their own team record, and have 6 champions. Nobody's ever had 6 champions. What Kale and company are doing is absolutely remarkable. You're living in history right now. I don't know how long this goes, but I don't see it ending soon, just collectively so people understand. Next year they lose Levi Haynes. They add Masa Ono.
And they got Kasich back.
Yeah.
Redshirt. So
Yeah.
they're going to redshirt
It's entirely
PJ.
possible they just plug in Kasich at 57, bump Messenbrink, or bump PJ to 65, Messenbrink to 74, and plug in Masa Ono. And that lineup, I mean, if you say Messenbrink can do the same he did, PJ Duke can do the same he did, Kasich's probably a little worse than Levi Haynes. But I think Masa Ono will outscore that margin over Braden Davis, unless Braden Davis has like a top 4 tournament.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
It is. It's nuts.
So, all right. We love you guys. We will see you. I will see you this afternoon, and we'll see everybody else next week.